Welcome to Tabernacle Talk. Tabernacle Talk is a Bible study podcast brought from Tabernacle Baptist Church in Essex, Maryland. I'm your host, Brian Self. We hope this podcast encourages you to know Christ, grow in His Word, and show His love to others. Let's dive right in. Welcome back to Tabernacle Talk. Today we're in Galatians chapter 6 and verse number 2. Galatians 6 and verse number 2 for our verse for the day. And looking forward to going over this verse. This is one that's been a big encouragement and a challenge to me through the years, and I hope that it'll be a blessing for you today. This is the Apostle Paul. He's writing to the churches in Galatia. He has just said in verse number 1 that those that are spiritual are to help restore and care for those that have been overtaken in sin. And he tells them to restore that sinful person with a gentle spirit, watching out for themselves so that they also won't be tempted. And then kind of in summary of that, he gives us verse number 2, carry one another's burdens. In this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. Carry one another's burdens. In this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. Here, verse number 2, I'll compare with verse number 5, which says, for each person will have to carry his own load. So we are to carry one another's burdens, but everyone has to carry their own load. And if you've never read the book Boundaries by Henry Cloud, it's a tremendous read and very helpful. And he highlighted some of the differences between this. There are burdens, things, whether physically, emotionally, or spiritually, that we go through sometimes, or that others in our local churches go through sometimes, that are just way more than a normal day-to-day journey. It's more than we would have to take in a specific day. I can think right now, I've got a pastor friend down at Fort Howard Community Church. I think it's like about 25 minutes away from here. And he just did a funeral for a family that lost their 8 or 9 month old child a couple months back. And that is, when I think about carrying one another's burdens, something that is way more than just like the day-to-day, I think of that church and that pastor that were caring for and carrying the burdens of that couple during that incredible hardship. We've got people in our church right now that are grieving the loss of siblings, of parents, of loved ones. Even one of our elders here at the church, Dr. Ron Smith, they've had several family members right now that they don't know if their family member will live, another year or so. They've got loved ones from their previous church that have passed over the last couple of months, just circumstances that are not your day to day. And we are called to carry the burdens of each other when we can. This is one of the reasons that I'm a firm believer in the local church, because if I am to carry the burdens of others, how in the world can I carry the burdens of every single Christian on this planet? I can't do that. However, I can help to carry some of the burdens of those within my local church. And I can encourage some of my friends of, hey, I know you've gone through this trial and you had a parent that had cancer. Can you talk with this person? Can you care for them? Can you love them? Can you bring them a meal? I'm so grateful that a local body of believers is able to accomplish meaningfully for someone what just general thoughts and wishes, well wishes for all the Christians in the world could never do for them. I think it's so important to be a part of a local church. And so this is why we're called carry one another's burdens. We can't live other people's day to day. I can't live the life of my friend John, or I can't live the life of my friend Sherry. God just hasn't given me their race to run. He hasn't given me their load. But even though I can't do the day-to-day for them, when the really tough things come along that just weigh them on down, that they feel discouraged, that they feel anxious, I can come alongside and go, hey, I know that you are really feeling it right now, but I want you to know that God is faithful. I want you to know that the Lord is good even when circumstances are not. I want you to know that you can get through this. I want you to know that I'm here for you, and you need a meal. You need, a day off, and you just need to be with another person. I can be here for you, and I can listen, and I can pray for you, and I can, I'll bring ice cream or whatever it is. Just find some ways to practically love another person. This one, honestly, we've done a lot of these verse for the days so far, and I feel like this one's just so practical, down on the ground. You and I have ways that we can help alleviate the emotional and spiritual stress on another person. I think as well of, times when I have moved. I think I may have told this story on Tabernacle Talk before. So when my wife and I were moving all of her stuff from Oregon, where she had been teaching in a Christian school for a year, and I was moving her up. We had just gotten married like a week and a half, 2 weeks before. We were moving all of her stuff out of her second or third story apartment that she was there with a couple of other girls who were teachers at the school. And so we were moving that stuff, putting it in the moving van, and heading on up the 5 hours to Washington, where we live now. And so we were going to be doing that. And the day before, I had been told by this one guy, and he was like 6'5", 6'7", really like big, strong guy. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna help," and I was really looking forward to it. I tend to think of myself as a fairly strong guy, but all of the other girls that were there were like under 5'4". They were incredibly short people. And so I was like, man, it'd be really nice to have someone that's a little bit taller, much taller than me even, to be able to, navigate some of this stuff. And turned out, that whole time that we were loading, that guy never showed up. Never once, never heard from him again, actually. And so that was really funny. And I think here, carry one another's burdens. We don't want to be the one that especially in a local church, we have committed ourselves to one another. When you become a part of a local church, you are not committing to a set of programs. You're not committing to even a like preaching style or music style or one particular preacher. You are committing to that body of believers that you will carry out the one another's of the New Testament within that local body, that you will love them, you will pray for them, you will carry their burdens. And so I want to encourage you, find ways to carry the burdens of others. One practical way, and then I think we'll be done for today. Right now it's summertime. I think when this episode comes out, we are mid-July now, and there are elderly people within your congregation. Now, you might be one that says, "Listen, Pastor Brian, I am the elderly person in this congregation." Okay, well then this isn't for you. But for those of you that are maybe younger, you can be a blessing to an older person in your congregation. You can mow a lawn, you can water some plants, you can, do whatever odds and ends to be able to help out someone that if they go out into the scorching sun, it might not end up particularly well for them. But if you're younger and you're able to take on some of that, you can carry someone else's burdens that they might feel burdened of. Man, I don't want just a totally dead flower bed. I don't want my lawn looking like I'm in the Amazon, different things like that. If there's a way that you can help, choose to help. I'll say this. I'm a parent with toddlers, and so this is something near and dear to my heart. Whatever church you go to, if you are in a stage where you don't have little kids anymore, can I encourage you, be a blessing. Carry the burden of a young parent who is probably tired um, from just the physical, upkeep of having little ones. Send a young couple, be like, hey, we're going to watch the kids. You go out for a date night. And that can be just an inestimable blessing to a younger couple that just needs a little bit of reprieve, that just needs a little bit of that emotional pickup, and you can help to provide that. It's carrying one another's burdens. There might be someone that was recently widowed, someone that recently lost a loved one, that you can reach out to in a text and say, hey, I'm praying for you. I love you. If you ever just want to like hang out with someone, come over. We can go watch a movie. We can, I'll make you dinner. We can play some, board games or card games or something. You can reach out and let people know that they're not alone. That can be an amazing way to carry someone else's burdens. Again, these are all things that it will depend on what your life stage is, what you're physically capable of doing, maybe what you're financially capable of doing. But you can pray for others. You can let them know that you're praying for them. You can ask how you can pray for them. You can encourage them with your words. Those are all ways to carry burdens, but I also wanted to include some practical ways that you might be able to carry another person's burden. And why would we do this? This is what I hadn't gotten to yet. Last part of the verse. In this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. The law of Christ, as he said in the Last Supper and in the upper room. He says, this is my commandment, that you love one another. You want to fulfill, you want to complete everything that God has for your life. Love other people. And when you love others, not just in your emotions, but in your actions, you complete everything that God wants to do in and through you when you love others. What a wonderful, attainable goal that is for you and for me. Carry one another's burdens. In this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. Thanks for tuning in today. Hope you have a great day.